All right, and welcome back to our NBA preview series. We're going to be talking about the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks today. With me, as always, for NBA content is our Australian correspondent, Jared Prosser, myself, Trey Dalbert. Not a super busy offseason, just a lot of work around the edges here. They bring in Chimmy Ojale, George Hill, Rodney Hood. They lose PJ Tucker's probably the biggest name they lost. Should we make anything of this offseason?
No, look, I don't think so. It's just tinkering around the edges.
Yeah.
But look, when you're the champions, that's all you need to do. And you have a look at last season at 46 and 26. It's a tick over 50 wins, about 52 in a normal season. Yeah, this team has been when they had the best records in the league but were flaming out in the playoffs, they were a lockdown defense. Bud made changes. He allowed them to become more expansive on offense. He changed the way they played defense. It dropped them from first down to 10th in defensive rating, but it gave them plan B, plan C, plan D for the playoffs. Now, they obviously went for a big time, brought in Drew Holiday for all of the draft picks and got rid of Eric Bledsoe in the process, which is probably the definition of addition by subtraction. And people forget they had the botched sign and trade for Bogdan Bogdanovic as well. You throw him in instead of DiVincenzo, as much as DiVincenzo was injured for the playoffs. You throw Boggy Bog in that spot, and my God, that's a formidable lineup. Now, there was a lot of intrigue surrounding Bud. Like I said, he did loosen the reins a little. He tried different things. It clearly worked. He still pulled the right reins when it counted. So for me, the Bucks didn't have to do much. But the players that you mentioned, there's an interesting thing about it. Let's look at who they got rid of. Realistically, they lost Tucker, who's as old as the hills, and they lost Bryn Forbes, who lights out shooter, but a bit player in the playoffs. But look at who they added. George Hill, still a really good shooter and an adequate defender.
I love him.
Oh, he's a perfect player to have off the bench at his age. Grayson Allen, rugged defender, occasionally dirty defender, but again, a very, very good jump shooter. Rodney Hood, if his legs still work, which is up in the air, he's still an excellent floor spacer with size. He's 6'8". And then they brought in the much maligned Chimmy Ojale, who is essentially they're betting, and I'll touch on more on this later. They're betting that he's going to be their Tucker replacement. So there's a very definite plan here. It's shooting and get one defensive stopper in to replace Tucker.
He's jacked out of his mind. He just looks lost a lot of times.
Look, he's definitely gone to the Mike Bibby gym, hasn't he? But yeah, look, if someone can teach Ojale to play basketball, there is a basketballer in there.
Yes.
Yeah. So the main man for the Bucks, who else? Who like I'll give you $1 if you can get it.
My question is he just keeps getting better somehow.
Giannis,
it's like a never-ending ceiling that guy has.
Well, do you remember when we had the long off season? The long break in the season. I started doing the all-time teams, the all-time A team, B team, C team, all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you remember what I wrote because I had Giannis in the A team. I don't know whether you remember that I wrote that for me there is a clear top three historically: Jordan, LeBron, Abdul-Jabbar, in whatever order you want. I proposed that when it was all said and done, Giannis might be in that tier. He might be that good. At that stage, he had an MVP up his sleeve. He was about to win a second and his first DPOY. He's still, 26, I think? He's still got growth left. He's just dropped a 50 piece.
It's incredible.
To win a finals game, and he's still got growth left.
How does he keep getting better?
Look, he's the ideal professional. He just works hard. Sure, of course, he's a freakish athlete, as his nickname suggests, but he doesn't rely on that athleticism. He's somebody who works at his craft. His shooting has come along, and it's probably hit a ceiling. It's not going to get a lot better, but everything else he does so well. His humility, I suppose. Yeah, he doesn't, even though he can be a 6'11" point guard, he said, well, I'm really not the guy you want handling the ball in a pick and roll because I can't shoot. So I'm going to set screen after screen after screen after screen
and
free up taking holiday.
He's got a lot of more muscle mass on his body since he entered the league.
He does. Oh no, well, yeah. I mean, the shoulders on him are huge. But how many superstars who can handle the ball like he can at his size and finish the way he can would sit there and go, no, let someone else handle the ball. I'm of a better option for our offense if I'm setting screens and rolling to the bucket.
It's hard to root against that guy. It's hard to root against him.
I absolutely love the attitude. Like, forget the talent, just that mindset. Me as a coach, if I've got kids coming through my program who've got that sort of mentality, I don't care how good they are, I'll find a spot for him. He's freakishly talented, but he's also a worker. 28, 11, and 6, 1.2 steals, 1.2 blocks. He hit more than 1 3 per game last year, only at 30%, but he's still taking and making those shots. Note to Ben Simmons, he still takes the shots. Realistically, the campaign he just had was almost a mirror image of that second MVP campaign, but nobody spoke about him as an MVP candidate, which shows how strong the narrative affects these things. But now that he's a champion, could he get pushed for a third MVP by the age of 27?
I'm done ruling things out for this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Giannis gets a third MVP, where does he go from there? I mean, cure cancer? I don't know. Like he's sort of scratching the ceilings of what we expect from a basketballer. The one thing I am looking for this season is seeing whether he takes, not so much through the regular season, but in the playoffs, is seeing whether he takes more of those marquee matchups defensively with Tucker out of town, whether he decides to be the guy that's going to take, whether he takes some possessions on Embiid, whether he decides, no, KD is mine. If the Lakers get to the final, does he match up on LeBron and or AD? That's probably the only area of the game where we can expect to see a bit more from him, is just stepping up as being the prime number one defensive option as well.
As easy as maybe the key player was, I'm not sure there's an obvious X factor candidate on the Bucks. But who do you have here?
This one, I had to scratch for this one, but I went with Brook Lopez. He's 33. He'll be 34 by the time the playoff starts. And with apologies to Bobby Portis, who's a converted 4, he is the only genuine 5 on the roster. So there is a fair bit that rests on those big, broad shoulders. I wonder if at his age, whether he can keep it up. He's into I think this will be his 14th, maybe 15th season. His blocks and his block rate fell away pretty dramatically last year. Now, that could be one of two things for me. It could be that he wasn't getting, Bud opened up the defensive system a little bit, tried some things. So it could be that he wasn't getting ball handlers funneled directly to him like he was in previous years. Or it could just be that he has lost half a step, that he's just not quite getting to those possessions at the rim. Now he can deter a shot, but he might not be able to block it. He's just that half a beat off getting the block like he used to. Now, an encouraging sign for Lopez, I guess, maintaining what he has done, is that he doesn't have a physical role on offense. We saw it in the playoffs occasionally, that when Giannis was off the floor and teams played small, particularly Phoenix when Ayton was out, they'd put Lopez in and just tell him to go down low and just absolutely bully whoever he was playing on, Kaminsky or whoever they happened to throw at him. And he still did really well. He was an all-star low post scorer for a reason. But the fact that he doesn't have to do that very much at all saves his body for defense a little bit. And hopefully that means he's still got another year or two left of this, higher level performance.
He takes a hell of a lot more jump shots than he did in Brooklyn.
Well, I think he only shot 8 threes in his entire career in Brooklyn. Not make, shot. And
he does that. He does that in a night now.
Feel free to reply under the dotted line with that one. But either way, it wasn't much. He really didn't become a stretch 5 until LA, and then he's embraced the role wholeheartedly in Milwaukee to obvious effect.
I guess we kind of know what we're getting here with the Bucks, right? Not a lot of mysterious parts, but do we have a prediction? Are they NBA champ worthy again? Do we think they'll fall short?
They are, but there is still a little bit of intrigue with them. I mean, we mentioned that they've only, I guess, tinkered around the edges, but that bench has changed a little bit. We mentioned Tucker going and Ojale coming in. You know, Ojale he's a wonderful athlete. He's built like a house. He's quick
Yeah.
twitch.
Doesn't
He's
play
just
like
got no
one.
idea how to play basketball.
Yeah.
But if he can replace Tucker, maybe 85% of what Tucker did defensively, he'll be better than Tucker offensively. Shemi, I don't know whether it was last season or career, but he's something like 38% on threes from the corners.
Mm-hmm.
So he can hit the shorter three if you leave him open. And for anyone who watched any Bucks game last season, like PJ Tucker was so open, he could have learned a damn language in the time between catching and shooting. Teams gave him no respect at all on the offensive end of the floor. So even if he drops away a little bit from what PJ does defensively, he can give them a little bit more offensively. So I'm interested there. But also one to watch for, and I love this kid, Trey. Jordan Nwara.
Okay.
Watch for this boy. He is a bucket getter. Really, really talented basketballer. Was he about 6'8", something like that? He can flat out play. He's per 36s last season, 22 and 8, 45% from three. And he takes a lot above the break. He didn't get a lot of minutes on such a veteran side, but particularly with Tucker out, I think Nwora as a scoring three, as a pure backup to Middleton, I think he's going to get quite a few minutes.
Yeah, good career at Louisville.
Sorry?
Good career at Louisville, year 2.
Yeah.
Time to take a step forward.
Yeah. And I think through the regular season, guys like Nwora, even Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton earns a lot of trust in the playoffs with DiVincenzo.
Talk about an underrated athlete, Pat Connaughton.
A very, very good leaper. Yeah. He's that stereotypical white guy who gets up and yams on you and you go, whoa, where did that come from? It's sort of like a young Gordon Hayward. Hayward could get up before his legs fell apart, and it was always surprising to see. But when you look at it, Giannis's left knee is still screaming at him. It's still not 100%. Middleton and Holiday have come off a hard playoff series straight into the Olympics. So those guys will all need breaks through the season. So I can see, but now that he's opened up his mind as a coach a little bit, I can see him relying on some of these bench units a little bit more. So I'm interested to see how those bench units go.
At the end of the day, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, but getting back to your question about prediction, Vegas has got the Bucks at 54.5. I don't think they get there. As I mentioned, those top three needing to rest a little bit more. I think it'll be good for the Bucks in the long run.
Them winning a lot of regular season games isn't as important as it used to be.
Not when you've won a chip. Yeah. Once you've won a chip, it doesn't matter as much. So I think they'll finish third in the East at 51 wins. Like I said, the top three are going to rest. Lopez is old. DiVincenzo's coming off an injury. Hill is older. He's 35, I think, now. And there's a lot of guys that, as much as I love Nwora, he is unproven. Pat Connaughton, was that just a hot streak that a veteran gets and he got it at the right time? Or is that the new norm for him? There are a lot of, I suppose, unanswered questions. So I think they will drop back a bit in the regular season, but come playoffs, I can see them matching up with Brooklyn again at some point, whether that's conference finals or conference semis, depending on seedings. I honestly think the Bucks don't quite have enough to beat a full strength Nets. But if Kyrie is out, then I think the Bucks take them. Yeah, who knows what's happening there? Keep an eye out for our Brooklyn preview, folks. But if Kyrie's out, I think the Bucks take him, and whoever wins out of the Bucks and Nets is the next NBA champion.
All right, that's going to do it for your Milwaukee Bucks 2021-2022 NBA preview. Make sure to follow Jared on Twitter. That is hey_it's_JP. Myself, Trey Dalbert. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.